Awesome job, guys.
You know, you're kind of saying that sort of like we feel it sometimes. Cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. Remember, the word is all we have to hold on to. This is a good one. Peter's writing to people like Mark was writing to. They're struggling with stuff. Their faith is on the line. Their lives are on the line. They're worried about a lot of things. And he says, cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. He cares for you. That's what compassion is, isn't it? Jesus cares for you. That's what Mark's been trying to show us in chapter 6 of his book. Jesus as God has all power and authority and might and everything, and yet he cares for you. Not just big picture you like the whole world, he does, but he cares, Mark says, for you. He cares for you even when you're stuck in the storm. He cares for you. He could make you do what he says because he's God, right? And he could squash you like a bug when you step out of line. But he doesn't do that. Why? Because he cares for you. He has compassion. And he could leave you to face all your problems and storms and struggles and issues all by yourself. But he doesn't do that, does he? Why? Mark says, because he has compassion. Because he cares for you. He has compassion. As we've seen Mark, as we circle back to where we started with Mark 6 today, he has compassion on people even who oppose him and reject him and kind of make his life difficult. He has compassion for those who don't quite understand him, who are kind of wandering around like sheep without a shepherd, spiritually speaking. He has compassion for those who are spiritually hungry. He has compassion for those who are physically or emotionally needy. He has compassion for us in our stresses and struggles and strains and storms. And so he doesn't leave us to face all this stuff by ourselves because he has compassion. Because he cares for you. And because he cares for you, he sees through the storm. And if you're in a storm, understand he's going to come to you. He sees the frustration on your face, and he knows what it is. And he's not going to wait till the storm has stopped to go where you need him to be. Jesus comes through the storm, in the storm, while the storm's still going on. Because, say it with me, he cares for you. He cares for you. He has compassion. See, Mark wants you to understand that today about who Jesus is. And he wants you to understand it so that you can act on it. So you can do something with that knowledge. Here's 3 things that he's going to suggest. First, his friend Peter, right, would suggest this. Because you know he cares for you, when you're in the struggles and storms and stresses and strains, or when you have needs, because you know he cares for you, talk to him about it. Cast your cares on him. Talk to him about it, like right away. The minute you're in it, and as long as you're in it. Talk to God about those fears and worries and anxieties and needs, because you know he cares for you. That Jesus has compassion. Another thing Mark would suggest for us is, remember Jesus fed 5,000 with this miracle meal? Well, we have this miracle meal in the church we call communion. And he'd say, you know what? When that's there, take advantage of the opportunity to see that here's Jesus showing up, giving you what you need. Because he's here for you. Giving you strength in the storms of life. Giving you his presence when you need it. Oh, and speaking of presence, remember Mark kept making a big point in chapter 6 that Jesus kept showing up doing these things And he did it first with a word. Right? That's for people like us, who the word is all we got. I mean, Jesus is here, but we don't see him like the first people when Jesus walked this earth, or like Mark's readers. We need to know that his word is also him. And that's what Jesus does here. And so if we see that he has compassion, and we see that his words and promises strengthen us and support us, and his word is the way that we know when we're struggling with stuff, that Jesus shows up right where we are, keep talking about his word. Keep talking about his word and talking about it with other people and talking about it in church and talking about it in groups, because he cares for you. And so he left you something that you could read and reread and memorize and know that he is here for you, because he cares for you. That's how Mark wants you to act on it. Now this week we're starting to get into groups, and there's a question we're going to throw out there too, is what would it be like in our lives? This is a different discussion, so we're going into groups for that. If we started living and loving like Jesus. And if we started a little more having the sort of compassion for other people that Jesus has for us. Even for those people who kind of make our life difficult. That's kind of where we're going in groups this week. I want to encourage you to be a part of that, or at least to read through the little handout and do that at home for yourself. Next week we're going to get into chapter 7 of Mark. Coming back is best, because there's the best interaction. If you're not able to come back, listen online, read it during the week, and follow along. Listen online on our website or the podcast, and we'll have the opportunity to stay connected in the story of who the real Jesus is. I told you we've been together for an hour and 10 minutes.